Hello, my dear student. Very good morning. Today, I are going to deal with the group 17th elements. You have to already studied in your previous session. Group 17th elements. What are the atomic properties and what are the chemical properties? That's very important. In today's session, I have to discuss about the important concepts in group 17th elements is a chlorine, Cl2, chlorine. Clear? First of all, what is how to prepare in laboratory? Preparation of chlorine in laboratory method. The first, it can be prepared by the action of HCl with a KMNO4. ನೀವು KMNO4ನ HCl ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ liberation of a chlorine gas. That's a very important in your the board exam for 2 marks. How is chlorine is prepared from the KMNO4? Chlorine is prepared from KMNO4 when KMNO4 is treated with an HCl to give a chlorine gas. Let us consider the balanced equation. Let us consider the balanced chemical equation for preparation of chlorine in laboratory method by using a KMNO4 and treatment it with concentrated HCl. Okay. KMNO4 means potassium permanganate react with HCl to give Cl2 gas is a major product and 2KCl, 2MnCl2 means manganese chloride and 8 moles of water. This first reaction is very important in your board exam for 2 marks. How is chlorine is prepared from a KMNO4? Okay, the exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ balanced reaction ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಡೋದು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. Okay, otherwise 0 marks. Okay. Next method, it is also prepared by using MnO2 means manganese dioxide is treated with an HCl to give as a chlorine gas. Okay, suppose out of these two reactions, first reaction is very important. Okay, this is the preparation of a chlorine in laboratory method. Next, move on to what are the properties means what are the chemical properties of your chlorine. Chemical properties nalli first one, reaction with metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals ಜೊತೆಗೆ chlorine react ಆಗಿ to give corresponding chlorides. That's one very important, to give and corresponding chlorides. Chlorine reaction with metals to give an metal chlorides and reaction with non-metals to give a non-metal chlorides. That is called as a corresponding chloride, means metal chlorides and non-metal chlorides. Let us consider the first example. Sodium reacts with an chlorine to give sodium chloride to NaCl. Next, aluminum reacts with chlorine to give aluminum chloride AlCl3, and iron reaction with an chlorine to give an iron chloride FeCl2 or FeCl3, either ferric chloride or ferrous chloride. Next, the chlorine it's also reaction with a non-metals like a phosphorus P4 means it's a tetraatomic in nature. You already studied in your the group 15th elements atomicity, phosphorus P4 plus reaction with an chlorine to give phosphorus 3 ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, phosphorus trihalides, and also reaction with an excess of chlorine to give an phosphorus pentachloride. These are the metal chlorides, and these phosphorus trichlorides are the non-metal chlorides. Okay, that is the reaction of chlorine with metals and non-metals to give what? Corresponding chlorides, metal chlorides and non-metal chlorides. Okay, and another one important properties, second properties, it is highly affinity or attraction. It's an highly affinity towards hydrogen. It is an highly affinity towards an hydrogen, means suppose H2S means what? H2S gas in hydrogen sulfide H2S passed through a chlorine gas. ನೀವು H2S ಗೆ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸನ್ನು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ the sulfur is replaced by chlorine, because chlorine is a highly affinity towards hydrogen to give us what? 2HCl plus sulfur. In this reaction, chlorine is replaced by sulfur because it's a highly affinity towards an hydrogen. That is the second chemical properties of chlorine. Okay, it can be replaced. It replaces the hydrogen from H2S. Clear? Next, move on to the next property. Chlorine reacts with ammonia. NH3. It's very important. Chlorine reacts with excess of ammonia ಜೊತೆಗೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆದರೆ to gives an NH4Cl ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ammonia reacts with excess of chlorine to give NCl3, nitrogen trichloride, and NH4Cl. It's depending upon the chlorine is reacts with excess of ammonia, or ammonia reacts with excess of chlorine. Let us consider the balanced chemical equation for these two reactions. These two reactions are very, very important in your board exam. Complete the reactions anta kodtare. NH3 excess. Chlorine reacts with excess of ammonia with the liberation of an N2 gas along with the formation of an ammonium chloride, and ammonia reacts with an excess of chlorine to give NCl3, means nitrogen trichloride, and along with your hydrochloric acid HCl. These are the two reactions are very, very important. Suppose in your competitive exam, name the gas is liberated when chlorine reacts with an excess of ammonia to give which gas? Nitrogen. Okay, these are the two reactions are very, very important. Okay, it observe that this is an excess of ammonia to give N2 gas, and excess of Cl2 to give 3 moles of an HCl along with your NCl3, and excess of ammonia to give NH4Cl and N2 gas. Next, move on to chlorine reaction with your sodium hydroxide with NaOH. Chlorine reacts with NaOH. ಈ NaOH ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಎರಡು ಥರ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರ. ಒಂದು cold and dilute, second one hot and concentrated. You already studied what is meant by dilute solution and what is meant by a concentrated solution in your solution chapter. Dilute means the solute content is very less. Concentrated, the solute content is very high. How does chlorine reacts with cold and dilute NaOH and hot and concentrated NaOH? The two reactions are very, very important. Let us consider the first. Chlorine reacts with cold and dilute NaOH to give what? NaOCl means sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite, and formation of NaCl and H2O is common, but after concentrate, what do you get? The product NaOCl means sodium hypochlorite. Chlorine reacts with hot and concentrated. ನೋಡಿ, dilutely the number of moles is 2. Concentrated means number of moles ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, 6 moles of NaOH. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 moles of NaOH to gives NaClO3, sodium chlorate. NaClO3 ಅಂದರೆ sodium chlorate. NaOCl means sodium hypochlorite. These are the major product when the reaction with and cold and dilute NaOH and hot and concentrated NaOH. In your board exam or in your CET exam, complete the following ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, NaCl ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, H2O ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, these are common. ನೋಡಿ, NaCl common and water is common. But the major NaOCl, sodium hypochlorite and sodium chlorite. Okay. Next, reactions with your calcium hydroxide. Next, move on to chlorine reacts with calcium hydroxide. Chlorine reacts with calcium hydroxide, 2CaOH twice, to give what? Calcium hypochlorite. This is the component of bleaching powder. Now, bleaching powder anta ನಾವು ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ, the major components in bleaching powder, calcium hypochlorite. Okay, let us consider chlorine reacts with calcium hydroxide to give what? Calcium hypochlorite. It is one of the component, the major component of bleaching powder, calcium hypochlorite. And another important point, you already studied in your first PUC chapter, hydrocarbons ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. Chlorine undergoes an addition reaction in the presence of sunlight to give CH3Cl plus HCl. These are the important reactions of chlorine. Okay, next move on to the chlorine. It is also act as a oxidizing agent. Chlorine, it acts as an oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೇನು, which do the an oxidation. At the end of the chemical reaction, it undergoes a reduction. Chlorine is a homonuclear diatomic molecules. Oxidation state is 0. At the end of the chemical reaction, it converted into -1. Let us consider the first reaction. FeSO4, ferrous. Oxidation state of an iron is a +2. In the presence of an acid H2SO4, chlorine, it oxidizes acidified, means it's an acidic medium, acidified ferrous salt to ferric salt. Oxidation state converted into +2 to +3. Next, second, chlorine, it's also oxidize sodium sulfite. Nodi, Na2SO3, sulfite ion, SO3 2-, sulfite. Oxidation state of in sulfur +4. It's a oxidized to sodium sulfate. Sulfate ion oxidation state sulfur +6. SO4 2- is called sulfate ion. Sulfate ion oxidation state of in sulfur is an +6. Chlorine is oxidizes to what? Sodium sulfate to sodium sulfate. And chlorine, it oxidizes to sulfur dioxide, SO2 to sulfuric acid. And the last reaction, chlorine, it oxidizes iodine, I2. This is also oxidation state 0. Iodine to iodic acid. Iodic acid means HiO3. ಈ ನಾಲ್ಕು ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, chlorine Cl2 it's converted into HCl, 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 HCl. Oxidation state is 0 to -1. These are the important oxidizing reactions of chlorine. First one, ferrous to ferric. Second one, sulfide to sulfate. Third one, sulfur dioxide to sulfuric acid. And fourth one, iodine to iodic acid. And majorly, chlorine acts as a bleaching agent used in fabric industries to remove the coloring matter. And intensity ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೋರಿನನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ಅನದರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್, hydrochloric acid means HCl. Next, consider HCl, hydrogen chloride. Preparation ತುಂಬ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಅದೇನು, ಟೇಕ್ ಎ NaCl and heat it with your H2SO4 to give HCl. But the important concept, the important point in HCl, it acts as strong monobasic acid. HCl, it acts as a strong monobasic acid, means it in aqueous solution it gives an H plus ion, H and Cl minus. In aqueous medium ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, water. In water, HCl a donation of a proton to gives an hydronium ion and chloride ion. It is a strong acid means it undergoes a complete ionization. Okay, that is called HCl, strong monobasic acid. It gives how many H plus ion? Only one H plus ion. Its ability to neutralize only one base unit is called monobasic acid. Next, it reacts with ammonia NH3, reacts with ammonia NH3 to give a dense white fumes of an ammonium chloride. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಲ್ಯಾಬಲ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ 0th group basic radical in glass rod dipped in concentration HCl introduced the near the mouth of a test tube, a dense white fumes are evolved due to the formation of an NH4Cl. Clear? Next, another one important point, mixture of 3 moles of HCl and HNO3. It's a mixture of 3:1 ratio of concentrated HCl and concentrated HNO3 is called aquaregia. What is mean by an aquaregia? It's a mixture of 3:1 ratio of concentrated HCl and concentrated HNO3 is called aquaregia. What is the use? It is used to dissolve. It is used to dissolve the noble metals like in gold, platinum. ಅಕ್ವೇರಿಜಿಯನ್ನು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ಲಾಟಿನಮ್ನ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮಿಕ್ಸರ್ ಆಫ್ 1:3 ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಆಫ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ HCl and HNO3 is called aquaregia. Okay. Next, let us consider the reactions. How it is in gold. What is the reason? Gold and platinum is dissolved in HCl. Gold and platinum reacts with aquaregia. Sir, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು aquaregia ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ನೈಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ from an HNO3 and Cl minus from your HCl. The gold and the platinum is insoluble due to the formation of a complex ion. You already studied in your coordination chemistry chapter the complex contain metal ion and ligand. Cl ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 4 ಇದೆ. ಟೆಟ್ರಾ ಕ್ಲೋರಿಡೋ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಯುರೇಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎನ್ anionic complex. ಟೆಟ್ರಾ ಕ್ಲೋರಿಡೋ ಅಯುರೇಟ್ 3 ಅಯಾನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 6 ಇದೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾ ಕ್ಲೋರಿಡೋ ಪ್ಲಾಟಿನಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ ಕೇಟಾಯನಿಕ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ. ಈ ಸರ್ ಆ್ಯನ್ ಎನಾಯನಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾ ಕ್ಲೋರಿಡೋ ಪ್ಲಾಟಿನೇಟ್ 4 ion. That is the reason for the solubility of an metals that is the noble metals like in gold and platinum in aqua regia. These are the important points in your hydrogen chloride. First point, it talks a strong monobasic acid. The mixture of 3:1 ratio of concentration HCl and HNO3 is called aqua regia. It is used as a dissolve the noble metal like gold and platinum. What is the form when gold and platinum dissolved in aqua regia to the formation of the respective chloride complex? Okay. Next, another important reaction. HCl, it's also decomposes what? Sodium carbonate and sodium sulfite. It's a salt of weak acids. HCl, it decomposes the salt of weak acids like sodium carbonate and sodium sulfate with the liberation of a carbon dioxide in case of sodium carbonate and sulfur dioxide in case of sodium sulfite. Okay, these are the important concepts regarding your hydrogen chloride. Okay, in the next session I have to discuss us about the important concepts. What are the oxo acids of halogens? Okay.